All right. Welcome to this Friday night Bible study. Today we're going to be getting again back on track with our Genesis. We had to spend some time on a topic that was very important, and we've gotten some great responses from the messages that we taught on the willful sinning. And we also got some great responses for the solution that followed that. And those that were here on last week that had a chance to participate in that lesson, they were fired up. All right. And so I'm really excited to have that series completed. So now we can get back on track with Genesis. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to pick up really with the life of Isaac. All right, Abraham and Isaac, the next journey. It amazes me how many similarities there are between Abraham and Isaac and Yahweh and Yeshua. I mean, there's countless, and the more I study, the more I see. If you look, as they were preparing Isaac for that sacrifice, and Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, right? So he was carrying his wood, right, for the sacrifice. But notice, the Romans laid the cross on Yeshua and led him to the place of his death. So he was carrying his wood for the sacrifice. Isn't that amazing? So there's so many similarities between Isaac and Yeshua. Isaac is a type of Mashiach. He is a type of Mashiach, and we have not exhausted all of the similarities there. And by the way, this place is called Golgotha or Mount Calvary. They were both going to the exact same destination. The same place. The same place that Abraham was prepared to sacrifice Isaac is the exact same place that Yeshua was sacrificed for the sins of the world. So again, Isaac was a type of the Mashiach, a type of Christ. The exact same place Yahweh told Abraham of is where Yeshua died. Okay. And the angel of Yahweh called unto Abraham out of the heaven a second time and said, By myself have I sworn, saith Yahweh, for because thou hast done this thing, thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. This is something that we really should be experiencing. It's really unfortunate that our ancestors dropped the ball so horribly. Because when you look at the life of Abraham, and then we're going to get ready to start looking more closely to the life of Isaac and Jacob, people came against them, but they came out on top every time. They were always constantly winning. And because of the transgressions of our forefathers, we're in this state right now where it seems like we're the tail and not the head. We're below and not above, right? We're being the borrowers and not the lenders. And that's not what the Most High had planned for us. And he is going to turn our captivity captive, but we just need to recognize that Deuteronomy 28 has kicked in. The curses have definitely kicked in. But we've got to get to Deuteronomy 30, where it talked about us no longer, being in that state. But because we return, he said, once we return, then he's going to turn that captivity captive, and we're going to become greater than the fathers. So this study of the fathers is going to help us understand where we should be. Okay. So now we're going to look at the fate of Sarah. There was a loss. I can just imagine. I don't know how much she knew about the sacrifice. The scriptures don't reveal that Abraham had a conversation with her. But we know that the last conversation that was had with her being alive, at least recorded in scripture, was before the sacrifice. So I can only imagine when Isaac got back, he probably told his mother, they had to be close. He probably told his mother all that had befallen him, right? And all the great things, and how, man, right when Dad was ready to pull that knife down, the angel screamed from heaven, said, Abraham, Abraham, I can just see him going through the details of that situation, and in her mind, she's just, pondering what could have happened, right? And so the next time we hear Sarah's name being mentioned in scripture, and Sarah was 107 and 20 years, so she was 127 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah, and Sarah died in Kirjath Arba, the same as Hebron in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. Now, this is Genesis 23. The sacrifice took place in Genesis 22. So the very next chapter, after that verse, I just got through reading about, how because you have not withheld your son, your only son, and he just got through giving him all the benefits of what he's going to inherit. The next verses was Sarah dying. Okay, so they don't even get a chance to rejoice. He's having to mourn the loss of his wife, the matriarch of a great nation, right? And after this, Abraham buried Sarah, his wife, in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre, the same as Hebron in the land of Canaan. So now it's time for Isaac to go into a new phase of his life. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and Yahweh had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all that he had, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by Yahweh, the Elohim of heaven and the Elohim of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell. Now, does anybody have any idea why he would make him swear this promise not to get a wife of these women that was in the land of Canaan? What would be their concern? What would be Abraham's concern? What do you think?
That they would cause him to serve other gods. They were pagan people.
They were pagan? And so the father here is trying to prepare a wife, a bride for his son. He wanted a bride for Isaac without spot or blemish. He wanted a bride for Isaac without spot or blemish. One who had not been touched, by the paganism, right, of the day. One who believes in casting their children into the fire. He wanted a woman that was going to be righteous before him. And so, again, another type in the shadow, right? Another type in the shadow. He's going through, he's making them swear, do not just get anybody for my son. I want a special bride, a bride without spot or blemish, right? But thou shalt go into my country, into my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. And the servant said unto him, peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I needs bring thy son again into the land from whence thou camest? And Abraham said unto him, beware that thou bring not my son thither again. Don't take him back to them heathens, right? Do not take him back there. The Most High called me out of that place. And I do not want my son to go back there, okay? Yahweh Elohim of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that sware unto me, saying, unto thy seed will I give this land. He shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this my oath. Only bring not my son back to that place again. Don't take him back there, okay? And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and swear to him concerning this matter. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and departed, for all the goods of his master were in his hands. He controlled all the wealth. He was the keeper of the house, right? And he arose and went to Mesopotamia, unto the city of Nahor. And he said, O Yahweh Elohim of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher I pray thee, that I may drink. And she shall say, drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac, and thereby shall I know that thou hast showed kindness unto my master. I'm going to stop here for a moment, because this that he's describing, this request that he's making, is a huge request. Because one thing you got to understand is, one thing to give, Eleazar something to drink, but he's got 10 camels, and a camel drinks gallons of water. Okay, and so it's no telling how many times she had to go and take trips to get this water to satisfy these camels that have come across the desert to get to this place. And so she's going through this. She's proven herself a willing worker. She's got a good heart. She don't even know who this man is, but he's a stranger in the land, and she's willing to show him this kindness. And I mean, over and above, right? This is what he's requesting, that she be willing to show him this kindness over and above, not only to give him something to drink, but also to take care of his camels also. So this is a request that he's putting before the Most High. And it came to pass, before he had done speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. So I mean, the footsteps of a righteous man are being directed, are being ordered. See, the Most High is involved with this thing. It's nothing like being led by the Most High, knowing that you're on it in his will, on his plan, right? I remember when my wife and I were getting ready to start our business, and we had got a prophecy that once we see the building, we're going to know it. We're going to recognize it at the same time, right? And it was a way that we had traveled, I would say, hundreds of times, if not more, right? This route that we took it, I mean, every time we went to church, every time we had to take this route. So we're talking about several times a week. For years, we took this route. And all of a sudden, we were stopped at a light, looking across the street at a building, and we saw this, I don't know, for lease sign, and we pointed at the same time. We looked at each other at the exact same time, like it was choreographed. Do you see that? That's it, right? And so, I mean, we knew that was a building. And so we went over there to talk to the man about the building, and he said, "You guys are too late." He said, "This man is coming and putting money down on that spot." I said, "Listen, man, just let us see it. I don't care about the man putting money down. I know what the Most High said. Let us see the building." We walked through that building. It had everything we needed, water supply. I mean, we had saw so many different places that didn't have all the right stuff. We needed, extra doors for ventilation and different things. This place was perfect for what we wanted to do, to start off our screen printing business. And so we went in there, we said, "Man, this is it. This is it. We need this space." He said, "I've already told you, the man has put a deposit down." I said, "Okay." And this is like on a Tuesday. He said, "Well, come back Friday." He's supposed to come back Friday to give me the rest of the money. Come back Friday and let's see what the status is. And I mean, we were so anxious. I went back Thursday and I talked to the man, and the man said, "I don't know what happened, but this man came back and got his money." He said he couldn't do it. And so I said, "Okay, so what do we need?" And I think it was like $2,000 pretty much for everything to get in, right? And while we were doing business in our home, the Most High was preparing us for. He sent me a check for $950 from a source. I didn't know what the source was. Didn't know what the money was about. But yet and still, he gave me the money. I opened up the check. I saw the dollar amount. I put it back in the envelope, put it on my cork board, put a pin in it, and act like it did not exist. Don't think we didn't need stuff. Don't think a brother didn't want stuff, right? But we put that check on the board and act like it did not exist. The next month, another check, just like it, $950 came. So now we're talking about $1,900 sitting on the wall, just waiting for instruction. And so now we done found the building. The man that was tying it up came and got his money back. And so now we said, what do we need? He said, $2,000. I said, I'm gonna be right back. Okay. I went and got those checks, deposited them in the bank, came back and wrote the man, his check. I had enough money in the bank to do the renovation, to order a sign for the building. And that thing, it blew up because we were moving in the timing of the Most High. And so when your foot are being ordered, I mean, he just has a way of just working things out. And so this is what this man is experiencing here. While he is still praying, right, it came to pass, before he had done speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother. He said, go back to my family.
Wow.
Go back to my family and find a wife for my son. And here it is, his family. The first woman coming out, carrying his jug. Let's see what happens now. She got her pitcher on her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, a woman without spot or blemish, right? Neither had any man known her. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. And the servant ran to meet her and said, let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher. And she said, drink, my lord. And she hasted and let down her pitcher upon her hand and gave him drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for thy camels also. Listen now, until they have done drinking. I'm not going to just get them a little bit. I'm going to keep drawing until they get done. If they still drinking, I'm still pouring. That's a lot of water. That's a lot of water. And so you got to understand, this woman was going above and beyond. Now, I really was looking forward to teach this because we're in a day now where, unfortunately, our women are being corrupted by some really crazy ideas. You got women today that don't want to take the man's name. You got women today that want to have kids without the man. In other words, they'll go to a sperm bank. They don't even care. I want to have a son or a daughter, but I don't even want to be encumbered with a man. I mean, it's just foolish ideas are going about in the world today. The concept of being married and being faithful, to a husband and being faithful to the wife, that whole concept is under attack right now. Right? It is under assault. And so we need people to get back to the biblical idea of what it means to be saved, to be holy, to have holy matrimony, to build righteous families. We have just lost our way as a community. And so what the Most High is looking for, he's looking for individuals that will show themselves to be right standing with him. Because through individuals like that, he can show himself strong and mighty through them. And this is who Abraham was. Abraham was a man that was so sold out to the Most High that all he had, he was willing to give for the Most High. And for that reason, the Most High was willing to bless his life. I mean, bless his socks off, right? He said, everything I got is yours, Most High. And the Most High, he became his friend. He's on his way to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. He said, shall I not stop and tell Abraham what I'm getting ready to do? Right? Seeing he's going to train up his children after him in the ways of the Most High. Right? So I'm not getting ready to go and do this thing without consulting with my partner. This is my partner. Right? We're in covenant together. I swore by myself that I'm going to bless this man. So surely I'm going to have this conversation with him. And we had the conversation. And the conversation was so deep that Abraham was willing to go to the Most High. And out of respect, he did it respectfully. But he said, you're the Elohim of all the earth. Surely you're going to do right. If it's 50 people in Sodom and Gomorrah that's righteous, now I know you're not going to destroy the righteous with the wicked. Far be it from you to do that. That's the way he had a conversation with the Most High, because he knew his nature. He knew what he was like. He said, you're not gonna kill the righteous with the wicked. No, that's not who you are. You don't roll like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know you. And what did the Most High say? If I find 50, I will not destroy it. And so he said, pardon me, Most High. I gotta have another conversation. Because what if it's only 40 and 5? Will you not spare for 40 and 5? And the Most High said, I will spare it for 40 and 5. Excuse me, Most High, I need to have another conversation with you. What if it's 5 less? What if it's just 40 righteous there? Will you spare for the 40? He said, I'll spare for 40. What about 30? What about 30 now? You gonna spare for that? I'll spare for the 30, Abraham. Mm. What about 20? Mm. Will you spare for 20's sake? He said, Abraham, I'll spare for 20. He said, I know I'm just dust, right? It's not much to me. I'm just dust from the earth. But I gotta ask you one final question. If you can only find 10 there, will you spare it for the 10 righteous that's there? And he said, Abraham, I will spare it for the 10, right? I mean, he was Abraham's friend. Abraham was his friend. They had conversations like that. And so, we need to recognize that if we can learn how to walk with him, to let our heart be made known to him, that he will, there's no good thing he withhold from those that walk uprightly before him. So this servant now, he's on a mission for the friend of the Most High, Abraham. He's on this mission for him to find this righteous bride. Again, this type of Mashiach, looking for a bride without spot or blemish, one who is diligent. You look at the woman in Proverbs 31 woman, she's diligent, right? She's willing to work with her hands. She's not lazy, right? She's willing to do what it takes to take care of her family. So this woman was willing to do that. She's demonstrating what it means to be a Proverbs 31 woman. And the thing about it is it going to be worth it? Right? Is it going to be worth it for her to go through all this stuff? That's the big question, right? Is it worth it for her to make this sacrifice for this man that she doesn't even know, right? Is it worth it? And she hasted. She wasn't slow about it. And she hasted and emptied her pitcher into the trough and ran again unto the well to draw water and drew for all his camels. And the man wondering at her, he held his peace, and to wit whether Yahweh had made his journey prosperous or not. And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of half a shekel's weight, and 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekels weight of gold, and said, Whose daughter are you? Tell me, I pray thee. Is there room in my father's house for us to lodge in? He's not sure yet if he's got the right one, but he liked what he's seeing so far, right? Are you the one? And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bare unto Nahor. She said, moreover unto him, we have both straw and provender enough and room to lodge in. So we not only do, am I the one, right? I'm from the right family, but we got the provision you need to take care of all 10 of your camels and all the people that come with you. We ready. Let's do this, right? And the man bowed down his head and worshiped Yahweh. Can you imagine? You were seeking the Most High that just, let my way prosper. I'm on assignment for my master. I don't want to let him down. I want this journey to be prosperous. I want to be able to go back and give him a good report, right? So, this man is, he's excited. Like, man, I found the right one. But it's not over yet, though. Right. He's still got to talk to the family. Are they going to be in agreement with all this? So this thing is not over yet, but it's good signs so far, right? And he said, Blessed be Yahweh Elohim of my master, Abraham, who has not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I being in the way, Yahweh led me to the house of my master's brethren. He's acknowledging the Most High for blessing his route, right? Leading him to the right one. And the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And we're going to learn more about Laban in a future lesson. And Laban ran out unto the man unto the well. And it came to pass when he saw the earring and bracelet upon his sister's hand, and when he heard the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, Thus spake the man unto me, that he came unto the man and beheld, and behold, he stood by the camels at the well. And he said, Come in, thou blessed of Yahweh. Wherefore stand thou without? For I have prepared the house and room for the camels. And the man came into the house, and he ungirded his camels, and gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the men's feet that were with him, showing him kindness, being courteous, right? And there was set meat before him to eat, but he said, I will not eat until I have told my errand. And he said, Speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and Yahweh has blessed my master greatly, and he has become great. And he hath given him flocks and herds, and silver and gold in abundance, y'all. And men servants and maid servants. Today you call them employees, right? And camels and asses. Man is loaded. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master when she was old. And unto him hath he given all that he had, to Isaac, right? And my master made me swear, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell. But thou shalt go unto my father's house, and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. And now, if you will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, The thing proceeds from Yahweh. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as Yahweh has spoken. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshiped Yahweh, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things. And they did eat and drink, he and the men that were with him, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, Send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother said, Let the damsel abide with us a few days, at the least 10. After that, she shall go. Now I'm gonna tell you, this right here is whack. But I'm gonna just let you know this right now, because they didn't receive their gifts and all that.
Right.
But those 10 days would have kept stretching out. They would have kept coming up with reasons and excuses to keep their daughter there. They've already, he's already demonstrated that the man is wealthy. He done gave everything he got to Isaac. Isaac is getting ready to inherit everything he's got. And your daughter is going to be the bride of this man who owns everything. He owns everything, right? But they're saying, let the damsel abide with us a few days, at least 10, at least 10, right? After that, she shall go. And he said unto them, Hinder me not.
Right.
Seeing Yahweh has prospered my way, send me away that I may go to my master. And they said, We will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. And they called Rebekah and said unto her, Wilt thou go with the man? And Rebekah said, Ma, you they. you and my brother, y'all tripping right now. Did y'all hear all the story that this man had to say? Am I going with the man? Yes.
How fast?
Right? I'm going with the man, right? So somebody. Like he did Jacob, right? Yeah, that's coming. That hasn't happened yet. Somebody talking about how Laban and then was tripping on Jacob. That's coming. Because this is Jacob's mother right here, actually. So that's coming. That's going to be in future lesson, but that's absolutely correct. You know, Laban and his sister, they tricksters.
Yeah.
You know, they're tricksters. They done got the money, right? But they're not ready to give up the daughter yet, the sister. You know, but she said, I will go.
Let me out.
You know, let me up out of here now. You know, I got a Boaz. You know, why y'all tripping on me right now? Why y'all tripping on this man? You know, you already seen, you've already acknowledged
Right.
that this is Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
So why are y'all tripping now? Right? And they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant, and his men. And they blessed Rebekah, and said unto her, Thou art our sister. Be thou the mother of thousands, of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them. And saying this is, you got to understand something. This prophecy, this blessing that's being blessed over Rebekah was to extend to Isaac, to Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, to the 12 tribes, and to all their descendants, for as many as Yahweh will call. That was supposed to be the inheritance of the seed of Abraham. And so, you know, when I go over these stories of the patriarchs, and this is the second one now, this is Isaac, number 2 of 3. You know, when I go over these stories, you know, I want to really help you guys to get a glimpse of what life is supposed to be like as we walk our Torah before the Most High. We as a people have got to really get our walk together, right? We really do. And it's interesting, as I've made this commitment to start walking in my teaching ministry more, you know, it's like the Most High has been opening up doors for me to meet other people. I'm meeting other brothers. There's one brother who did Hebrews to Negroes. He did a movie, a documentary. He wrote the book. You know, he's written many books. He's very well taught. He spent a lot of time in Africa. He's talked to a lot of tribes. You got to understand something. And we're gonna see this about Abraham before we wrap up with his life. He had a lot of children. Now Sarah just died in this episode of our series, but he's gonna marry again, and he's gonna have more children. Now, just from Ishmael had 12 princes, and they were all blessed because they're the seed of Abraham.
Right.
But then he's got Isaac, right, who's getting ready to start having children. And then he's gonna get married again to another woman, and she's gonna give him more children, and they're gonna be blessed. So there's seed of Abraham all over the continent of Africa. And so this brother who wrote Hebrews and Negroes, he has spent a lot of time visiting a lot of the land and the peoples that's there. And it's interesting. He says that you know, when you talk to some of these people, they know who Abraham is. They know his heritage. They recognize it. I mean, they've got words. Their words don't always sound the same, but they mean the exact same thing. Father of many nations, and it just you know. I mean, we were having this conversation last week, and it was blowing my mind how many different groups of people he's met that really are seed of Abraham. And so I'm really looking forward to spending more time with him and getting a chance to have a conversation with him and getting into some deeper conversations. I think the wife's name is Keturah. Keturah is the next bride of Abraham. But he said, and they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, Thou art our sister. Be thou the mother of thousands of millions. That's a big number, right? Right? And let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them. Right? That's and here's the thing. Even though we're not fully walking in that right now, and right now, too many of us are still the tail and not the head. But when the Most High gets done, when the final chapter is written, we will possess the gate of our enemies. They're gonna, you know, you gotta read the prophets, and I can't wait to get some of the prophets, to Isaiah and Zechariah and some of these other prophets. I mean, our gates are gonna be open, and we're gonna be receiving the wealth of nations. and they're going to be coming down to serve us. Hear what I'm saying? It pays to walk with the Most High. It pays to walk with the Most High. He's going to flip the script. He's going to turn our captivity captive, and those who have abused us are going to serve us. You know, those who had us in slavery are going to become slaves. You know, they're going to have to honor us for the things they did to us. And we may have been in slavery for 400 years, but we're talking about a 1,000-year reign with the Most High. So he's gonna turn our captivity captive, and it's gonna be well worth it for us to have served the Most High to receive the reward that he's gonna give us. And once we come into the land and do the things that he wants us to do, because one of the promises he said is, once David, and when we talk about David, we're talking about Yeshua. You know, he is the son of David. That's a prophetic name for him. Once he takes the rule, and he said, you know, the kingdoms were split. Judah and Israel split, and you had Judah, Levi, and Benjamin in the south, and you had the 10 tribes in the north. And those 10 tribes, they strayed and they never returned to the Most High. And they have been scattered to the four corners of the earth. Okay. So he told Ezekiel to get 2 sticks and write on one stick for Judah and the other one for Joseph, you know, which represent the 10 tribes. And he said, the 2 sticks are going to become one in my hand. And he said, never again will they be separated. He said, never again will they be scattered. Never again will they be abused by people in the lands. And he said, and the Most High is going to be their king, right? And they will never be scattered again. Never will they sin again. Never will they rebel again. I mean, these are prophecies of what our final state is going to be. So I like hearing that. You know, that once we return, there's not going to be any more backsliding, right? None. No more backsliding, right? So, you know, we just got to get excited about that. You know, we need to pay the price now to reap the returns of serving the Most High. So we will be possessing the gates of our enemies. And Rebekah arose and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels and followed the man. And the servant took Rebekah and went his way. And Isaac came from the way of the well Lahairoi, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel, for she had said unto the servant, what man is this that walk in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, it is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death, right? And so what we find now is that the Most High has prepared for Isaac a bride. And so likewise, the Most High is preparing for his son a bride, right? Another type in the shadow, another type in the shadow. And we are that bride. And so we have to make, the scriptures say we make ourselves ready. You know, we have to make ourselves ready. So if there's anything in our lives that are not pleasing to the Most High, if there's anything in our lives that we know that we're falling short in, it is time to do a check, right? It's time to do an evaluation. Because, you know, I'm telling you, the day is getting close. You know, we don't know how much time we got. But we need to be, in the process of time, we need to be salt and light. You know, we need to be drawing people into him. And I had a conversation with a young man this week, and many of those that's in the Hebrew roots, they believe that, you know, because we have been scattered to the four corners of the earth, you know, and we have, you know, been intermingled virtually with every nation on the planet, They believe that, when the book of Revelation talks about, a people from every nation and language and tongue, that really what that represents is the scattered tribes of Israel that have been intermingled with other nations on the planet. So that is something that we have to, kind of be aware of, that so many other nations right now are so caught up in wickedness, especially this country. I did some research on that school of good and evil. And it's not a series, it's actually a movie, and the philosophies that are being taught in that is absolutely ridiculous. This concept of yin and yang, yin and yang is basically, if you look at the symbol of yin and yang, it has a black circle and a white circle, exactly the same size. And they have this swoosh, if you will, a black one and a white one. And when you bring them together, they make a perfect circle. It's perfect balance of black and white. And so they're implying that there needs to be a balance in people's lives. A balance of good and evil needs to be there. If you don't have equal amounts of evil, then you'll get out of balance, and your life won't work.
We don't have an equal amount of evil.
Evil with good. That's what the whole implication is. Before I had a chance to really do some research on this, I wasn't aware of how much that concept had permeated our society. One of my favorite, movie series, Star Wars, it doesn't talk about doing away with the dark side. It talks about bringing balance to the Force. And when you first look at episodes 4, 5, and 6, Darth Vader is already on the scene. And, he's doing what he's doing. He's being who he's being. But when Luke grows up and he's given into the Force, he's learning the Force, he's able to sense what's in his father. And supposedly his father still has good in him, and Luke is saying, I sense it in you, Father. There's still good in you. And his father's trying to tell him, it's too late for me. But by the time the Emperor was trying to kill Luke, then Darth Vader ended up coming to Luke's rescue and destroying the Emperor, right? So at the end of the movie, you're feeling good because Darth Vader has turned back to, the good side, right? And you're feeling good about that. The problem is, when they introduce episodes 1, 2, and 3, you get a chance to see what went into making of Darth Vader. And, in order for him to become Darth Vader, the Emperor instructed him to go to the school and kill all the young ones. We're talking about elementary age kids. And this man went in with a lightsaber and just struck them down, killed them, right? And he had to do all these things to get him to give in to the dark side, the evil side. So this concept of yin and yang and having balance is satanic. It is nothing good. There's nothing in scripture that talks about having balance in your life. It says resist the devil and he will flee from you. There is no room for having sin in your life. And I'm gonna tell you how some of these people live their lives. You've got wealthy people who are into this yin yang philosophy, who during the daytime, they're giving, money to charities, and they're doing their good alms, during the daytime. But at nighttime, they're doing all manner of evil, whether it means child porn, rape, abuse of people, or murder, whatever it is. They're doing it, but because they believe in this philosophy of yin and yang, they think it's okay because I gave $1 million to this charity, I'm good, right? But that's not the Most High. So I'm saying that to say this: there may be some truth to the fact that the Most High is coming back for his seed, the seed of Abraham, the seed of Abraham that have been scattered to the four corners of the earth. Because when you talk about some of the prophets, he said, I'm calling to the four winds to give my children back, give them up, give them up from every nation, give them up, right? So we have to make certain that we're doing those things that are pleasing in his sight. We cannot succumb to the foolishness that is in this world, because he is coming back for a bride without spot or blemish. He is coming back for a bride without spot or blemish. I think that's one of the reasons why they took this time to show us the detail of what it was involved with getting Rebecca. The miracles that was involved with it, his footsteps being ordered. He was looking for the right one.
Right.
He did not want to settle for the Canaanites.
Right.
He didn't want to settle for anyone else. It had to be people from his seed, right? It had to be people from his family. So this family that Yeshua is coming back for, it may very well all be the seed of Abraham, right? I know they talk about nations being engrafted in and all that,
but that may be the engrafting, because they're people married with other. I mean, it's just a thought. We're not biblically saying this is true, but it's just something to think about.
It is.
And it makes sense.
I've got to reread my Bible with a focus on this topic. I really do. I really do. And the answer is going to come from the prophets. A lot of the Old Testament prophets, they deal with a lot of that, his return and what he's coming back for. It's amazing when you read the scripture, you tend to read it from a certain lens based upon what you're looking for. When my son came to me and said, Dad, we're supposed to be keeping Sabbath. And I drank the Kool-Aid, that because he rose on Sunday, we're supposed to be honoring the Sunday. And that's why everything was changed. Never read that in scripture. No. But that's the way, that was a tradition that was passed down.
Right.
And so I'm like, son, you didn't drink the wrong Kool-Aid, man. He said, Dad, I challenge you.
That's what he said. I
challenge you to read the Bible and find out what the scriptures say about Sabbath keeping. And when I did that, I went through it. I didn't stop, even though I got more than enough, overwhelming evidence of keeping Sabbath was biblical. I also wanted to study it out, because it's not just a Sabbath. When he talks about Leviticus 23, these are my feast days. He talks about the Sabbath, and he talks about the 7 annual feast days. And so I said, okay, I want to find out how long this Sabbath keeping is going to go. And it talks about during the millennial reign, keeping Sabbath. But then I said, I also want to see, was there a doing away with the annual feast days? And when I got to Zechariah, and Yeshua had set up his kingdom, and he said, and those who do not keep the Feast of Tabernacles during his 1,000-year reign will not get any rain that year. And so I said, okay, now, we into the millennial reign now, and we're still keeping feast days. And so when I saw that, I said, there's no argument that anyone can tell me that the Leviticus 23 feast days are not for today.
Right.
If they were for the past, and if they're for the millennial reign, then why wouldn't it be for today?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense, right? So, we have to be that bride that's getting ourselves ready, getting ourselves right. And that absolutely means, doing those things that are pleasing in His sight. And we got to understand, at a time when the world is trying to come under one umbrella, trying to get to the point where, they're coexisting with all the different faiths and all different religions, and the Pope is on a mission. He is going all around the world, and he's being very effective, because when the Queen of England died, they had people from all different kind of faiths praying during the funerals and stuff. And for the first time, I think when they had the inauguration, I heard it on somebody's ministry. During the presidential inauguration, when they prayed, when there was the first time that they didn't do just a typical prayer in the name of the Father, but or in Jesus' name, but they were talking about, you know, both male and female. Yes, yes. I mean, they man, it was so ridiculous. They were trying to pray a prayer that would not exclude anybody that has some kind of off belief. They want to have this thing such that everybody feels comfortable. Can we all just get along? Can't we all just coexist? But that is not what the Most High is about. Believe it or not, he said, I'm coming to bring a sword. I'm coming to bring division between a man and his son, a mother and her daughter, right? And so he's trying to bring separation, because if you're not walking with him, in agreement with him, he said, how can two walk together unless they agree? Unless they agree. So Sabbath keeping is a tool of separation. You know, he said that this is going to be the sanctifier. Yes. And Ezekiel talks about, you know, those that keep Sabbath are being sanctified by the Father. You know, so it is a way of separating. So we have to recognize that. We're being separated out. We're being called out to be a holy bride for the Most High. Right? And like I say, just like Abraham sent his servant on a mission to make certain that this woman was going to be without spot or blemish coming from his seed, you know, the Most High is looking for the bride of Mashiach to come from his seed to be without spot or blemish. Okay? Anybody got any questions or comments? Any questions or comments?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
The one comment I want to say is, you know, we don't have to look at Abraham like he was so special. You know, the thing that made him special was he made a conscious choice to do what the Most High showed him was right before him. That's what it was, you know, and that's all we have to do.
That's it.
You know, we have to, with the knowledge that we know, we have to walk in it, you know, in spite of what our flesh may like, in spite of what we would desire to do. If we know this is what is going to cause the Most High to be pleased, this is what I have to do, you know. And for everybody, it's certain things. Now, as far as the word, that's just it. Everybody got to be obedient to the word, you know. But for some, it's just certain things. Like what was it? Samson couldn't cut his hair. Okay, and some the ones that couldn't drink the wine. The Nazarite vow, you know, and different things like that. So he may challenge you to go an extra mile in certain areas of your life, because he needs you where you are to make a difference in that choice that he's giving you that he's put in your spirit to make.
Absolutely.
You know, and we have to be willing to make that walk, that make up our mind, this is what we're gonna do, you know. Like for instance, and I know, you know, for some it's not a big thing, but it is for me. You know, in my job where I'm at right now, you know, I don't think there's nobody in there that don't cuss.
Yeah, that's bad.
You know,
I deal with that on a daily basis when I go into the office. From
residents to co-workers, I don't think it's anybody that don't cuss.
And the problem is, there's not too many of them that wouldn't say they're some kind of believer.
Oh my God!
Right, that's a big problem. I mean, the people that I have doing this, they are religious as can be.
Yes.
And drop F-bombs like they're breathing.
Oh my goodness, so it's crazy. So, but see, for me, that's one thing the Most High does not allow me to do. I'm not a cussing saint. I can't be. You know, it just it don't fit.
It casts the wrong light.
It can't. You know, so one thing they know about me at my job, they know, okay, Terry, we know you don't curse, but I'm gonna say it for you. You know, or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't need you to say it.
I don't. But what I'm saying is they see my light and my life. And then they'll say something wrong. Oh, I'm so sorry, Terry. You know, and it's not that I am so holy.
You're being a light.
I'm trying to be a light.
That's the definition of being salt and light. Light shows the way. and salt preserves, right? Salt preserves. So when you show up, you're going to cause the environment to be more holy, just by who you are. That's what we're supposed to be. That's why there can't be any coexisting,
right?
With other religions, false religions. And I did a teaching on that. You shall know the truth, because you can't have two things that's going to be true at the same time.
No.
You believe in reincarnation, where a soul is one soul for generation after generation, being put in either a newborn baby or a new animal. And then once that animal dies, that same soul is going to be, going into a future generation. There's no scripture that says that. The Bible clearly says, it is appointed unto man once to die, and after death, the judgment. You can't have reincarnation and that verse of scripture both being true at the same time.
No.
Something is true and something is false. So we have to stand separated and apart from the world. So that's just what it means. Our lives have got to mean something. It's got to stand apart for something. And it doesn't mean we're somehow
super special.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. It's just we're doing the will of the Father. He wants us to separate ourselves from the world so that we can do those things that are pleasing in His sight. Go ahead.
But we gotta have a mindset like Yeshua and Abraham. I want to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do those things, not for any other reason, but our relationship with Him has to become so real that, like, I'm gonna say this, and I pray y'all don't take me wrong, but if I'm praying and I burp or something, I say, "Excuse me, Most High." Why? Because He's there with me. I treat Him like He's there with me.
Right.
I treat Him like He's real for me, like you are to me right now. And that's the attitude we have to have. I do these things because I love Him. I want to please Him. I want to walk up. I walk softly because I don't want to do something that I may think is right and it's not right.
You don't want to grieve the Holy Spirit.
No. But see, that's a hunger and a desire that we have to have. And if we're not there, we really have to ask Him to give it to us. We got to get to the point where our heart is His throne and our will is His footstool.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Good. That's good. I agree with that. You have to agree with that. It's been requested that I do a teaching on Sabbath keeping, and that's something I haven't done in a while. I mean, it's been a long while since I've actually did that, but I will break that out. I will dust off a lesson, put that together, and have a lesson on that, because that is worth covering. A lot of people are not Sabbath keepers, and maybe they don't know why it is an appropriate thing to do. So we'll put a lesson together, and it'll be probably within the next couple of weeks. I will address that. I want to get through the patriarchs, and maybe before I go into the next book, I'll get a chance to look at that. So I'm going to put that on my schedule to make that happen. I think that's definitely worth covering. All right. Anybody else have any questions that need to be covered? Any questions or any comments? And I also want to encourage all of you that are on. This will be dropped in YouTube on Tuesday. We've been doing real good on making sure we keep that out Tuesday at 11 a.m. sharp. Everything is scheduled to drop. So this video will be out. Make sure you get a chance to go and visit the YouTube channel, share with others. We've been getting a lot of really positive response and feedback. The subscriptions are growing. So we're excited about that, but we want to keep getting this word out to more and more people. So let's just share it. Share it with your coworkers, share it with your family. Let them know that there's going to be teaching going from Genesis to Revelation. We're going to deal with all of it. We're going to deal with the prophets. A lot of the prophets don't get a lot of attention, but we're going to share with a lot of the prophets and what they've got to say about Yeshua and about end time events. We're going to get into that. I'm looking forward to getting to the book of Revelation and really sharing about the things there. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of very powerful teaching coming forth. So I appreciate all of you that are tuned in at this time. I've exhausted what I wanted to cover today. You know, I just wanted to really get a chance to talk about Rebecca. She is awesome. You know, and like I say, she is, because the Most High is an Elohim of the living, not the dead. So all the patriarchs, all the matriarchs are living in his presence. And we're thankful for the life that they lived, you know, and the examples that they set. You know, those women, you know, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, you know, great women. You know, they were servers, and we appreciate them, you know, giving us the patriarchs that we have. And so, you know, I just want to give her some attention today for who she was, a very great woman, definitely a Proverbs 31 woman. So she's an example of what our women should be, right? And definitely an example of what our women should be. All right, if there's nothing else, then we will go ahead and pray out. Brother always saying, we still got time, man. We still got time. Oh, I didn't hear you, but you always say it. Yeah. Yeah, but hey, I don't mind getting out a little early sometimes, you know. But I appreciate that though. Okay. All right. Blessed are you, Yahweh Yeshua, our Elohim, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth and implanted eternal life within us. Blessed are you, Yahweh Yeshua, giver of the Torah, in Yeshua's name, so be it. And then run a benediction. Yiwadekaka Yahweh Vadishmanaka. Ya'er Yahweh Panabaleka V'Komeka. Yisai Yahweh Panabaleka V'Sindaka Shalom. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face shine upon you and show you his favor. And may Yahweh lift up his face towards you and give you what? Shalom. Peace. Nothing missing, nothing broken, and nothing lacking. All right, family. Till next time, we're going to wish you Shavua Tov, which means have a blessed week. And remember, greater is he that's in you than he that is in the world. And I've read the end of the book. We win, and the devil loses. All right, till next time, saints. Dr. Russ, I'm out.